Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Executes, guys. This time we're going to be doing Mirage. If you missed the first video, it was on Inferno. There will be a link in the description to the rest of the playlist. If you're watching this at a time when the series is already complete, you'll be able to see all the other videos there as well. Alright, so just like every other video that I've made in this vein, we're going to make a couple of assumptions when you're executing. And now the first assumption that we're going to end up making is that there's going to be a couple of smokes out on the board. So we're going to talk about A first, and we'll go from there. So the first assumption is that ramp is going to be smoked, or it is about to be fading as you are getting ready to throw your execute. Okay? And the second assumption is that most of the time there is going to be an opper posted on Palace from jungle, or he's going to be in this area. So we'll talk about what to do about that, and we can just pretty much easily avoid him if we're aware of that possibility, or he's either going to be there or CT. All right, so we're going to start. We're going to assume that your team is able to take ramp control without any trouble, because if you haven't had ramp control, then you're not ready to take A. Okay, we're going to talk about a standard A execute first, and then I'll talk about a split from connector. But then that's pretty much all I'm going to cover because anything else is just too situational and too in-depth for a video like this. All right, so when you're ready to start your execute, what you're going to want to have is you're going to have about one guy in ramp, okay? And he's going to be close so he can go out with the flashes, and probably three guys throwing smokes and one guy in palace. Sometimes you can send two in palace, but it just kind of depends on what the team is feeling. All right, so starting out, of course, we're going to go over the basic lineups. You guys should all know these, but we'll talk about them anyway. So we have the stairs smoke, just like this. A quick jungle smoke. I have a different jungle smoke than the rest of everybody. I get in the middle of this block, the second block, just like this, and aim a little bit under here. I use the height of my crosshair, but you guys won't be able to use my crosshair unless you're using it, of course. And then just a left click throw for this one. This is stairs and jungle. These are the essential smokes. You absolutely need to throw these two smokes. CT is not always required, so if you only have two smokes, don't smoke like stairs and CT because that just makes no sense. And then of course the CT smoke. You just get up and look at this wall, and then you aim right here for a jump throw. Nice CT smoke. Now, there's a couple of different CT smokes. You're going to have a gap in it regardless, but I throw this one. The gap is on the bottom left right here, and as long as we don't cross the default, and you're thinking, why wouldn't we want to plant or cross default? That's where we want to plant. It's because we don't actually want to plant there, okay? So let's talk about how it's going to go from there. All right, so we're going to throw the smokes. Now there's a couple of things you're going to want to do preemptively, and we're going to talk about that, and that's going to be the molly towards bench. And the reason that you want to throw this is because it's really common for CTs, especially higher level CTs, to get flashed through the smoke, take a kill, and then jump back to safety because it's really easy to do. So to prevent that from happening, you want to throw a molly that, will stop them from doing that. And also, you could molly sandwich as well because it's really common for people to jump through the stair smoke into sandwich because with a good flash because it's hard for them to be spotted while they're flying while you're blind. And yeah, so some teams will molly sandwich. But anyway, so going from there, we're going to talk about pathing, okay? Now, this is something that a lot of puggers, I notice, actually mess up. On the most common map to pug, most people don't seem to understand how the pathing works, okay? So let's talk about it. A lot of people are going to run, and they're going to go this way, which this is fine. Okay, in theory, this is fine to go this way and then like kind of go. But the problem is when you do that, there's going to be a gap in the jungle smoke depending on who throws it, okay? It's either this side or this side. So the problem is if you're crossing in front of these guys are going to get a free shot, and you're never really pressuring this guy that's under balcony or default unless the guy Palace comes out. But if the guy Palace comes out, then it's just a simple 1v1. And if the Palace guy loses, then all of a sudden their take just got a lot worse. Okay, so actually, the way that the pathing should work, and not if we're gonna talk about the same pathing, okay? So if we were gonna use this pathing, there's a simple way you would do it. And now all you would do is you would make sure that your palace guy is able to clear balcony and then molly under balc for you. That way, if he's there, he's forced out, and then he's gonna wait. And while you guys are scaling up towards right here, okay? While you guys are scaling up over towards here to get close to CT, he's gonna peek CT and default at the same time as that you're crossing triple, okay? Someone normally will stand back for this so that they can hold for someone running out under balc or to hold for someone playing default. But the reason that he's going to wait most of the time is so that he can flash CT for everyone to peek at once. So you flash CT, everybody peeks, and then all of a sudden, just like that, we have all of A. Okay, so he comes out. And then we're just going to keep holding, just like this in Palace. And if you have the chance, you would want to plant the bomb either here, which I call reverse default, and that's just because it's exposed to ramp, it's exposed to jungle for a flank, or up connector if you go flank, and it's open to CT, right? So you could play pretty much everywhere. Or plant right here on triple because it's the same thing, exposed to ramp and exposed to CT, pretty safe, and also Palace can stop it really easy. This is normally where you're going to want to plant in those situations. Very simple take. It's just all on the pathing. You just want to make sure that if everywhere that people go, you're next to them, and it just simplifies everything. Okay, the next way you could path into the site, which is the way you're supposed to do it, is like this. So you have the smokes up, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in, you're gonna throw this molly, okay, and you're gonna come and immediately clear under balk because you think you're exposed to everything, but you're really not. The CT smoke eliminates all the angles, and so this is just a 1v1 and then another 1v1, and it's really easy. You can just clear out the site, and then that's when you could be able to plant default. In this sort of a take, what would end up happening is two guys are going to run and they're going to be trading each other. So worst case, the guy kills a guy and then he comes in for the trade, and then we have that. Someone will creep up on the edge here and just get close to listen for anyone, or like he can phase the smoke if he needs. And then the guy in Palace, he actually doesn't even need to come out at all. What he's supposed to do in Palace is he's actually just supposed to hold the smokes. Make sure nobody tries to jump sandwich and make sure nobody tries to run through, and he immediately will punish. If you watch a couple of Nico demos, you'll see this is exactly how Nico used to default in Palace before he became an opper. He would just sit here and he would hold, and if anyone tried to jump through or come through to hurt his teammates, he would just stop them. And then when it was time to peek CT, or if someone was planning default, he would hold for them like this, and then he would back up. Really easy stuff on the normal pathing. Like I said, this pathing is 9 times out of 10 going to be safer than going that way, because when you're going across these jungle smokes, one more time, if you're going across these jungle smokes, it's really common to just get spammed while crossing, and it's just, really tough. Okay, I actually forgot about saying this. The first couple of flashes that you're going to want to throw on the take are the lamp flashes, depending on how long you've waited, and the reason that is because people playing close are going to eat this flash, and it's going to let you out of ramp, okay? And then after that, you can throw the first flash, which is over this red building, and that's going to stop anyone on site from like swinging out and trying to fight you. And then after that, you can throw flashes over Palace just like this. And the reason you want to throw these is because this is going to stop everybody from CT from stopping or from fighting, and anyone that's out from jungle, because it's even blinding me right here, as you can see. Okay, so that's as simple as it gets for a Mirage A take, the standard way. And so I guess now we can talk about splitting. I'm not going to tell you how many people should be where, and if you're going to split the site, you should probably have at least one guy Palace and at least one guy ramp. It just makes things a lot easier. So if we're going to split a site, there's a couple of things we have to assume. And the first one is that you've made it into connector to at least about right here without, I mean, you could have been spotted or whatever, but you still are going to split. And you have to have a couple of people here. So what do you need for a split? Well, first you need 2 smokes. And the first 2 smokes are going to go to CT. And the second smoke is going to go like this. So if you're in connector, okay, you can come here and you could throw the smoke just like this. And this is going to smoke jungle off, so you could split. So immediately you want to come out and you can start scaling up this way, and anyone who's playing close ramp, so if this guy thinks he's slick for playing here, he's getting shot in the side of the head. If this guy's playing in front of the ramp, he's going to get shot eventually when you cross this way. If he's playing under balk, he might get the first kill, but it's going to be really hard for him to gun everybody down. And if he's playing default, it's going to be really hard for him to manage all of these fights at the same time, and so it's just pretty simple from there. You're just going to scale up this way, just apply a lot of pressure, and if you have a teammate that's still around, he can do the same thing where he flashes into CT, or there's another molly that you could throw. If you don't have a CT smoke, you could throw this molly, which is when you come into this corner, aim at the top right here, and jump throw, and this is going to clear out the left side of CT, and then you could flash, and that just simplifies things again. And so that's pretty much how you would do that. And if there was a guy in Palace, he would wait until it's time to fight, and he would peek default with these guys, or he would just sit here and hold the jungle smoke behind them to make sure that nobody could sneak in and kill them. So that's pretty much how a site take should work in theory. You can, iron out a lot of the details if you were able to, have a team. But in terms of just pugging, these are things you can explain to people on the fly. Just go up this way and clear under, and that's pretty much as simple as a site gets. That's why it's a retake site. Most of the time. It's why people are so okay with playing retake. It's because it's really hard to hold unless you have 3 people here, and it's really easy to retake. But there is one more thing I'm going to talk about, and that's when the CTs are playing retake A, what some of the things that you absolutely need to do. And I'm going to talk about that while you guys type your questions if you have any. Okay, so playing retake A, if you guys watch my pug streams, a lot of the times you're going to see when I play A, I switch between playing aggressive and passive. And when I play passive, I sit here and I play jumps and I jump spot. So when the CT is jump spotting, he's going to wait for the execute to come in, and most of the time he's going to throw a smoke or he's going to throw something to do like a lot of damage or anything. So you need to anticipate that kind of stuff when you're executing. But if you see the smoke come out, which is the most common smoke for the CTs, you need to remember what they're trying to do when that smoke is up. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to lurk out and get fights that you're not like normally expecting. Okay, so the only thing you need to do is just react. You can molly triple, or you can molly the left side to stop the lurk smoke from being as effective, or you could just spam it. Anytime people spam that smoke when I'm trying to lurk out, they actually just kill me. It's really hard to deal with, but I still throw it anyway, and still try to make stuff work. So keep that in mind. And one more thing that the other CTs might try to do is they might throw a lurk smoke like this. You've probably thrown something similar yourself. It's very common, and they do this to try to stop like the CTs from having like every advantage in the world. Because if when this smoke is up, then someone can play crossfire with the guy under Belk and pretty much just win the round. So just keep that in mind and understand how you were going to need to stop that and just kill people. Okay. So we're going to move on to B site. And so when it comes to B site, we're going to make a couple of general assumptions, okay? And the first assumption is that this guy's jump spotting unless you pushed him back already, which can happen, okay? If you push him back, so if you have someone like posted with an op, or if you have someone that just takes a fight, he's not gonna jump spot again. Or if he does, he's gonna go for this jump spot, um, which is a lot safer. He can see into apps. So just keep that in mind that if he's not gonna jump spot, he's either gonna molly, he's gonna nade you, or he's gonna do some damage to you as a response to not being able to get the information anymore. And so just keep that in mind. But generally, this is either gonna be smoked, or he's going to be jump spotting, okay? That's pretty much how it's going to work. And just remember that if this has been smoked, if apartments is smoked, he can be in apps or on balcony, even if nobody ever heard him get up here because he can be boosted by a teammate. So just keep that in mind. You'll need to clear it. All right, so when it comes to taking B site, you can take it with as little as a market window smoke, or you could take it with as many as 4 smokes. And I'm going to teach you all 4 of the smokes that you could possibly throw. But just remember that if you're going to throw the arch smokes, you have to throw both of them, otherwise it's stupid. Okay? So let's start market window smoke in this corner. Standing straight up, you're going to jump throw at the top of this corner. And what does this look like? And why do you want to throw this? It looks like this. It's going to go into market window and land on top of the seal. Now, sometimes it will not land there, but we'll talk about that. And the reason that it does that is because if someone tries to come through, my feet are completely exposed, so you're, getting shot if you try to jump through. But sometimes the smoke misses, depending on how you throw it, and it could land like this. So if it does land like that, just keep in mind that the CTs might jump out and try to play on the left side of the smoke like this. And that's just, something you need to look out for. Okay, the next smoke that you can throw is a door smoke, okay? And now this is just like this. There's a little dot here on the ground. I can't really show you, but it's dark gray. You crouch, and so you crouch right here at this gray dot, and then you're going to stand up and then aim right here and jump throw. And this is a market door smoke, so I'm going to show you real quick. Normally, this is the least important smoke that you could possibly throw. This is like if you have 4 smokes and you really wanted to make sure you took the site, this is one of the smokes you can throw. And then we have the 2 arch smokes, okay? So the first one is left arch. You're going to get onto this wooden pillar right here, and then you're going to aim, you're going to crouch, and you're going to aim at the left of this lamp, and then jump throw, okay? And this is going to smoke the left arch perfectly. And if you throw that smoke, you're going to throw the other one, which is at the right of this window, and you're going to aim in the middle of this, and left click throw, okay? And so you're going to be able to throw both arch smokes just like this. And this is really, really good stuff because it's going to block all the vision from Cat and Get Right, and those are 2 of the most popular angles to play as B-site players, okay? So with those smokes now known, I will explain to you how you're going to take it. So ideally, you're going to want to have someone walk up already. He should already be here in a position close like this. If not, then you're probably not ready to execute B fully. And he's going to stand here and he's going to wait. Now what's he going to do? He's going to get a teammate to come up with him, and he's going to, and depending on how many smokes you're throwing, let's just say we're throwing all the three smokes, the market window and then the two arches, okay? You guys are going to wait and you're going to hold for when they throw their smokes down. And let's say they're going to throw their smokes now. Boom, they're throwing them. What is the first thing we need to do? We need to molly van, okay? Make sure that your van molly is really good. A lot of times people are going to miss their van molly, and I have a simple tip for you to make sure you never miss your van molly again. There's this dot right here. Just aim at it when you throw there, or throw the van molly. Because sometimes people will throw their van mollies wrong, and they'll either land too far, okay, over here, and they won't get here, or they'll do what this one did. But this one's fine, because if this guy's stuck back here, then this is good for you, because he's going to have to fight to the death. And then that's fine. We can handle that, right? Alright, so throw this, and then someone else can throw, so like let's say the first guy throws the Van Molly, second guy throws this flash off the window. What this flash does is it's called an entry flash, and it's going to blind people playing towards jail or get right. And even if this guy's smoked, it's better to have him blind. I mean, so you're going to throw that flash, and then as you're jumping out, you're going to want to throw a flash jumping out of the window as well. As you can see where it just landed, it's really good. So all you have to do is you're gonna jump through the window if you're first, and you're gonna when you jump out, you're gonna hug the wall. And why are you doing this? This seems really crazy, okay? And you could do it really fast. You don't have to do it slow like I just did. You can do it just like this. And what are you doing? Why are you doing that? It's because you're gonna peek, and I'm not exposed to jail, and I'm not exposed to get right. So if those weren't smoked, I could then just peek into them, and they're not expecting that. Normally, these people kill people falling all the time. They never ever take head-on duels, and you'll probably win those most of the time as the entry fragger. Especially since your teammates should be throwing good flashes for you, which I will talk about in a second. Your teammates should be throwing good flashes for you. So everybody should be blind regardless. So the first two guys will jump out, and they're going to take these fights and slowly scale up this way to the site, okay? Now, you guys can just go back to back fighting. We're going to clear this angle right here, the bench angle. Then we're going to keep moving, clear empty, and then we're going to stay here. Once we get to here, someone stays here, and the other guy can go on to site, and he can come hold market door now, or he can play swing, and he could just look cat when the cat smokes fade. And a position like this is really good. Okay, everyone else. What is everyone else doing? They're throwing their smokes, and then they're going to chain their flashes, which means you communicate with your teammates and you say flash, and then someone will say, okay, now I'm flashing. Because the worst thing you could have is someone throw flashes like this, because that doesn't do anything. The blindness doesn't stack, okay? He's not going to be blind for 15 seconds straight because you did that. The only way that would happen is if you did it like this. Right? This is chaining flashes, really common. If you've ever played against like good players, sometimes that'll happen to you where you're like, I was blind for like 10 seconds. It's true, you probably were, because they know what they're doing, okay? So these guys will throw these flashes for their teammates while they're scaling out, okay? And then they're going to come out. The first guy is going to come out, and he's going to come here. What's he doing? He's not jumping out. He's not going to drop on site and start running into fight unless someone dies. Only if someone on entry dies. He's going to come out here, and he's going to wait. Why is he waiting? He's waiting for someone to start squirming. When this guy who's hiding empty is going to hear these guys scaling up, this guy's going to want to like try to hide and look for gaps, and he's going to try to like sneak away, and you're going to want to be able to punish that. So you're going to kill him as he's running out. Or trying, or like running, yeah, you know what I mean. You get it. What's up? Alright, the second guy, what's he doing? He's going to do the same thing. He's going to come here and he's going to hold cat. He's going to make sure no one tries to sneak through the cat smokes, make sure everything's good, and then he's going to drop. This is going to be the guy that's probably going to plant initially, okay? And then what's the third guy doing? The third guy, he's going to fill any of the roles that haven't been taken. So he's either going to jump out and he's going to hold, or, I'm sorry, yeah, he's going to fill whichever of the roles doesn't end up happening. So, like, let's say the entry fraggers get clapped. These two guys are going to end up dropping and, like, trying to finish that mission. And then this guy will fill and say, all right, now I'm going to hold for you guys. And he's going to hold for anyone. And then he's going to stay in apps. Because when he's in apps, he can hold so many things for his teammates. And, you know, he'll still be useful. So that's pretty much how a B take works. It's very simple stuff. You just have to understand some of the technicalities of who goes where and when. and why, mostly. I will show you a couple of things that you can throw to help your teammates now. These are going to be mollies. If you have the time to throw them, I would recommend throwing them, but if you're an entry fragger, don't stop to throw this molly that I'm going to show you. Okay, this molly will molly empty. Okay, so if you're like second, you can come and throw this while your boys are running up. And this is really good, a molly towards empty. Or if you want, you can help your boys out. You can throw a molly towards bench like so. And this is, just as simple as it gets. If he's bench, he's going to be forced backwards. Another thing that can happen is that this guy who is third, who I said is going to stand on the balcony, he can jump on top of Van to peek door. This is really powerful as well because most people aren't expecting that. And that's another thing he can do, okay? Just keeping all of that. And that pretty much covers everything that there is to cover for a standard B take. It's kind of chaotic, but you could do any of this with or without the smokes, but one smoke you absolutely have to have is the market window smoke, unless you have an opper. If you have an opper, then he can come and he can get posted on market window while everything is going on, and that's basically the same thing. All right, so what's next? A B split, of course. How does a B split work? Well, first of all, we're going to assume that you've made it up cat. If you haven't made it up cat, then obviously the B split isn't on the table, is it? So getting up cat just means you have a guy in ladder, maybe you have a guy here, and we're just kind of chilling. They'll throw these smokes or whatever, and then they'll start running up cat. Okay, so what needs to happen on a B split? Well, basically it's the same thing as an A split. When you're splitting the site, the angles that the CTs can play is, severely limited. Like, before, you could have someone playing default, playing an angle like this, or someone playing, Scout Pillar opping, or maybe even someone empty, but all of these things are no longer on the table in a B split, right? So, what do you need to throw on a B split? Well, pretty much the only thing that is like important is a market window smoke, and then a bunch of flashes over. So you're gonna throw flashes and flashes and flashes, and a couple of mollies just to clear everything out. Make sure Van's mollied, and then you guys are just gonna slowly come out and help each other, just like this. We're clearing the site now. Just basically clearing all the angles that they haven't already cleared. So these angles and these angles right here, like where they're just trying to hide and get a couple of kills and hopefully stay alive, and bench as well. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Thing is pretty simple. You're gonna want to scale up this way, and you're gonna clear get right. All right, once we get to here, then we're gonna start scaling out. We're gonna go this way, and then we're just gonna slowly make sure that everything's taken care of, and then we're good to go. We don't even need to clear market door. This guy's probably standing here with an op just begging, please peek me. And if you don't peek him, then there's no risk. Pretty much gonna wrap it up for executing on Mirage. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you share it with your boys so that way they know what they're doing. And I will see you guys in the next video.